see more and more countries getting closer to the border with Russia. And his foreign secretary has raised this in the past. He said America didn't like Soviet missiles in Cuba back in '62. We don't want, NATO missiles 250 miles away from Moscow on the eastern border of Ukraine if Ukraine becomes a NATO member. He says, we don't like that. We don't want, let's talk about it. Nobody in Washington wants to talk about that.
Well, then apparently they will continue to talk about what's going on in Ukraine with Putin and others and get this thing straightened out, maybe? I don't know. Tom, thank you for your insight. I appreciate it.
Take care.
All right. Coming up, we're going to be talking about Super Bowl 56. It is shaping up to be the most heavily bet game ever. Survey by the American Gaming Association says more than $7.5 billion is expected to be put on the line by Sunday. And when we come back, we'll talk with Las Vegas Review sports betting columnist Ted Dewey about what's driving the 78% betting increase over last year's game. Right now, though, we're going to take a look at your drive from the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center. Let's go places. Let's see what's happening on the 210 in Glendora.
Now that fatality crash still working 210 westbound before the 57. That crash blocks the two right lanes. Traffic jam from Fruit Street. You can use the 10 as an alternate. Paramount, earlier crash cleared 710 southbound at Rosecrans. Everything out of lanes. You got a crash in Anaheim still working 91 westbound before the 55. Two cars involved. It's off to the shoulder. And someone lost a table in lanes. Corona, 15 northbound after Wyrick. Looks like that table is in the fast track lanes. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Dave Joseph.
Hey all, it's Dean Sharp. Are you looking to sell your home in 2022? Well, congratulations. That is a big deal. For most of us, it's the biggest deal of all. So let's make sure you get everything out of it that you can, yeah? Before you get ready to list, make sure you call the good folks at Revive. Revive's business is to maximize your home's sale value. How? By guiding you through market-critical upgrades before you sell. It's like flipping your own home, except Revive fronts the cost and guarantees results. Yeah, you heard that right. No money out of pocket and a higher selling price guaranteed. You can list higher and sell faster in just a few short weeks. In fact, the average homeowner sees $160K in additional profit. This is a no-brainer. Revive has created an easy, stress-free way to maximize your greatest asset, your home. So, are you thinking about selling? Then before you do anything, chat with an advisor at Revive. To get started, go to iloverevive.com. That's iloverevive.com. Sunny today. Windy in some of the foothills and the IE. Highs around 80 at the beaches. Upper 80s for Metro LA and Orange County. Mid 80s to around 90 for the valleys and the Inland Empire. Whether you're already on Medicare or soon will be signing up for Medicare, just navigating Medicare can be overwhelming, so let me suggest contacting AGA Medicare Options and get educated about all the rules before you make any of these decisions. There's a free dinner and educational Medicare seminar, no enrollment fees, no sales, so leave your checkbook at home. And this is with AGA. AGA's team of experienced agents will advise you step by step on a plan that fits your unique situation and budget, because we're all different. And AGA will help you find plans that are accepted by your physicians, cover your medications at the lowest out-of-pocket costs. Call to attend a free seminar near you. Now, pound 250 on your cell and just say, My Medicare. Pound 250 on the cell and say the keyword, My Medicare. Or visit AGAMedicareOptions.com, AGAMedicareOptions.com.
Unjunk your sleep during the President's Day sale at Mattress Firm. Shop now and get a king bed for a queen price, plus a free adjustable base with purchase. Don't miss hot buys like beds starting at just $159.99, plus Tempur-Pedic savings.
Regrow your own natural hair with the same simple one-day treatment that I received from Advanced Hair Restoration. Get a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts by calling 844-333-HAIR or AdvancedHair.com.
Hey LA, are you looking for a refi or new home loan? Cake Mortgage gives you a free instant rate quote with no credit check. Working with another lender? No problem. Cake will beat their current refi or purchase rates or give you $1,000. But you have to act now. Call 877-818-CAKE and put your home equity to work. 877-818-2253. NMLS number 1734623. Licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. How can you best navigate the new world of work? Find out at the virtual California Conference for Women March 2nd. Speakers include author Brené Brown, civil rights legend Dolores Huerta, singer Mary J. Blige, and top workplace and personal development experts. Register at caconferenceforwomen.org.
Accident or injury, call Jacob and Ronnie. Call Jacob.
KFI AM 640.
iHeart radio station.
More stimulating talk.
KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. Jennifer Jones-Lee is on vacation. I'm Chris Little sitting in for her. Here are a couple of the stories we're following. In the KFI 24-hour newsroom, Bob Saget's cause of death was head trauma. His family released a statement yesterday saying Saget appears to have hit the back of his head on something. Didn't think it was a big deal, went to sleep. Bob Saget was found dead in his hotel room in Florida January 9th. He was 65. Here's an Olympic spoiler alert for you. U.S. figure skater Nathan Chen has won the gold medal at the Olympics in Beijing. He's 22. He landed all 5 of his quads during his Rocket Man program to finish with 332.60 points. That's just 3 off his own world record. The U.S. Labor Department is likely to report later this morning that inflation is lingering at the highest level since 1981. Persistently high prices in energy, food, and housing continue to weigh on the U.S. economy. At 5:52, we will talk with Investopedia editor-in-chief Caleb Silver about where prices are rising the most and when they are expected to fall and why. But inflation does not seem to be having any effect on betting on the Super Bowl this year. It looks like Super Bowl 56 is going to be the most heavily bet game ever, with a 78% betting increase over last year's game. We've been able to catch up with Las Vegas Review-Journal sports betting columnist Todd Dewey. Hey, Todd, what's driving this increase in wagering?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good morning. And the increase in wagering is definitely due to the explosion of legal sports betting across the country, as it's in 30 states and Washington, D.C. when the game kicks off. So there'll be more Americans betting and more legal options to bet on it, and along with the thousands of different ways to bet on the game and prop betting that's very popular.
Yeah, and well, prop betting is popular, and I didn't really know what prop betting was since I've never bet in a sports book and I've never bet on a game, but after preparing for this segment with you, I think I want to. Tell us what a prop bet is and who can get into it.
Well, the typical game, you could bet on a team to win the game. It's called the money line. They have odds on that. Or they have the point spread on each side, or they have the totals where, it's total amount of points scored. But prop bets are more who will score the first touchdown, who will be the MVP on the game, will it be heads or tails on the coin toss?
Wow.
Will Bengals kicker Evan McPherson make over 1.5 field goals? They have Super Bowl squares. You could bet on the final digit of the score for each team, like you do at a lot of home betting pools, and how many games. The list goes on and on. They have a million of them, from the opening coin toss to the last play of the game, everything in between.
I read about one. Will there be a successful 2-point conversion? I could make that bet, and I will go with yes, though the odds are slightly against me, right?
No, it says plus 275, I believe, on a successful 2-point conversion. So when it has the plus in front of it, that means for $100, you would win 275 on there to be a successful 2-point conversion. It's funny you say that. That's pretty much the most popular prop right now at Las Vegas Sportsbook's one of them.
Have you made that bet?
I have not just yet. I haven't weighed in yet. I've made it in the past.
I was looking at your Twitter account, and you had some stuff up there earlier about $30,000 can bring you back $650,000 or something like that. Tell me about some of those bets, these big bets people are making.
Yeah, that was a parlay that hit on conference championship Sunday, where at one of the sports books out there, FanDuel, you could bet on the exact final score of the game, and one bettor had a $20 free bet at the sports book, and somehow was able to correctly call the winner and final score of both of the championship Sunday games. So Rams 2017, where they rallied against the Niners, and the Bengals 27-24 over the Chiefs. Both of those scores he predicted, which are 200-something to 1 each, and he combined them into a parlay, $20 to win $580,000.
Wow.
Okay, I'm sorry. I think you were talking about bets on the Bengals themselves this season. They have the odds to win the Super Bowl. Someone had bet $3,500 to win $500,000.
Oh, that's what it was.
Back in September when the Bengals were 150 to 1, and another bettor bet $30,000 to win $600,000 at 20 to 1 last month when they were in the playoffs.
That's crazy. What are the numbers now? What are the odds now to win?
Well, right now it comes down to the game itself, where the Rams, I believe, are minus 200, so you have to put up 200 to 100 on them to win the game outright. And they're between 3.5 and 4.5 point favorites. And if you want the Bengals plus 170, you put up 100 to win 170 to win outright.
Wow. Okay. So what's the best bet to make?
I don't know. I mean, that's the $1 million question that we all want to know. There's just so many of them. It all depends. Like you said, some of the most popular ones are, will there be overtime? Will there be a safety? Those are like pay 8 to 1. Or will there be a 2-point conversion plus 275? A lot of people, some of the most popular ones out there are the coin toss. Heads or tails, you could bet on each side, and both of them getting almost equal amounts of money.
That's awesome. Okay, so people are going to wager. The estimate is $7,600,000,000. Now, so I'm going to have to go to Arizona or Nevada to bet legally. But is this $7.6 billion? This is just all legal money, right?
Yeah, that's just the legal estimate. So there's still the illegal betting keeps shrinking as the legal market expands. But that's just the legal betting. Yeah, so I'm sure it's a lot more than that.
Okay, so in a state like California, where online wagering is not legal yet for some reason, there's nothing you can do except go to another state, right? Or is there something I can do? Or is that against the law for us to be even thinking about that?
Do you want me to put something in for you? No, I'm just joking. Yeah, you'd have to, at this point, the only thing you can do is drive over the border to bet with a legal sports book.
I gotcha. So what are the so legal sports book, so like Arizona or Nevada, that's the closest one here to us, I guess, unless you're up north. Is it Washington or Oregon? Somebody, I don't know.
Yeah, but it will be coming soon to California, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know what the holdup is. What are the demographics of the average Super Bowl bettor?
That's a good question. Pretty much, I'm not quite sure about that one, but I just know everybody likes to have a little something down on the game, whether it's the Super Bowl squares or just a friendly wager on which team's going to win.
Yeah. Now the NFL, in the past has feared that gambling would, kind of have a negative impact on the integrity of the game. Is that fading, or is that still kind of a thing in the NFL's head, so to speak?
That used to be what they said for years and years, but honestly, the last thing the Las Vegas sportsbooks want is a crooked game. And in fact, in years past, there's been a handful of point-shaving scandals, and Las Vegas sportsbook directors were the ones who alerted authorities to the scandal, where when they see typical action on a college basketball game, there's like 10 times the amount bet. Like, for instance, 1994, Arizona State, there was a college basketball point shaving scandal, and there was a bunch of irregular betting patterns in town, and that's when the Las Vegas sportsbooks knew something was going on with this game, and the line moved a lot, and, they told the NCAA about it, and they were able to, track down who did it. So, and the amount of money that these players make these days would be, you would think it's very unlikely that a player would throw again.
Yeah. Now, how come Americans are more interested in legal sports, betting now than they have been in the past? I mean, I know maybe part of it is, something like 10 states have recently made betting legal, sports betting legal. I mean, is it bad, or is there a hunger? What's going on? I mean, why is the guy next door, who lives next door to you, who has never bet before, now betting?
Yeah, because it's a lot easier and available, but honestly, betting has been going on forever. It's just now being brought out into the light where it's just so easy to place a bet, as all the legal sports books are exploded across the country in the last few years since the Supreme Court overturned PASPA, it was called, which Nevada was the only state that offered legal sports betting for years and years, until the last 5 years. So now that it's out there, and we all see all the ads on TV, I'm sure that has something to do with people placing more bets, but pretty much just that the spread of legal sports betting. It's always been around, but it's just so much easier now, like running down to the store.
Are the odds any different between legal and illegal sports betting?
Not too much, not really, because people, here in Vegas, even with all the Super Bowl props come out, they like to, a lot of bettors try to bet on differences between the different books and, try to hit bets on both sides. So if there's too big of a difference, people will take advantage of that, and, bookmakers would lose.
Gotcha. Well, it sounds fascinating. How long have you been writing about betting?
I've been doing this for the last 5 years. I've been in journalism for 30 years, but been covering the sports betting beat for the last 5.
How'd you get into that?
Oh, well, I was a sports writer already at the Las Vegas Review-Journal, and I was helping out the last guy that was covering the beat before he took off to join Brent Musburger at a network called VSiN that covers sports betting. And I've kind of always been into it. I grew up on the East Coast. A high school friend of mine, his dad was a bookie, honestly, and kind of got introduced to, parlay cards and stuff like that when I was in high school. So I've kind of been around it most of my life. And then since moving to Vegas, a lot more familiar with it. Now it's finally paying off.
Yeah, well, in more ways than one. Hey, Todd, I appreciate it. So we've been talking with Las Vegas Review-Journal sports betting columnist Todd Dewey. Todd, you got some social you'd like to plug on the big mighty KFI?
Sure. At TDewey33 on Twitter, and reviewjournal.com you can find me. Thanks a lot.
All right. No problem. Todd Dewey, thanks a lot. It's a pleasure. I look forward to talking to you again if I'm filling in for Jennifer Jones-Lee next year, coming up Super Bowl.
All right, sounds good. Good luck on the game, everybody.
All right, thanks a lot. All right, back to some of the stories we're working on in the 24-hour KFI newsroom. LA County Sheriff's detectives are looking for those involved in the shooting death of a 14-year-old boy in South L.A.
Otis Williams was walking alone to a neighborhood market when a blue late-model Dodge Challenger pulled up and the driver opened fire.
We don't believe this is a gang-related murder. Otis had no gang ties. He was 14 years old. He was 6'2". He had recently gone through a growth spurt. He was a very tall 14-year-old.
Lieutenant Derek Alford says the shooting in July of 2020 was most likely mistaken identity. Williams' mother says she wants to know why.
He was only 14. You may not have realized that when he did it, but you shouldn't be going around shooting people anyway.
In downtown L.A., Steve Gregory, KFI News.
Governor Newsom says mask rules in California are being loosened because the state is moving in the right direction.
And that progress is exampled all across the state of California, but not equally.
He says that's why counties have their own rules As for masks in schools,
We are getting closer and closer to making public an announcement on mask wearing in our public schools.
the governor says there are more than 1,000 districts in the state, and everybody has strong opinions, of course. When we come back, we will talk with Investopedia Editor-in-Chief Caleb Silver about the Labor Department's inflation numbers due out this morning. We'll talk with Caleb about what we can expect, where prices are rising the most, and when they are expected to fall, and why. Maybe even if. Right now, let's take a look at your drive from the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center. Let's go places. Let's check out that crash in Glendora on the 210 one more time.
Westbound before the 57, it's a fatality crash, still blocking the two right lanes, and now traffic is jammed from Town Avenue. And you got a crash also in the backup right around Foothill. Sherman Oaks, the 101 southbound before Woodman Avenue. Accident blocks the two right lanes. You're slow from Van Nuys Boulevard. That crash and accident, the 14th southbound at Sierra Highway. That's off to the shoulder. You're slow from Soledad Canyon. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Dave Joseph.
L.A. Water, holy smokes here. Did you know the EWG, it's a nonprofit environmental group, they found arsenic level 430 times what's considered safe. San Diego, just as bad. Newport Beach, I hope you like drinking haloacidic acid, but you're drinking 254 times the safe amount. So we know tap water is awful. And you're drinking, showering, bathing your kids in it with all these chemicals. That's pretty serious. Do what I did, called Purigan Water. They've been in business for over 35 years. And Purigan, man, it turns tap water to pure, clean, delicious water, and it comes with a free 6-stage alkaline drink system. So I know the holidays have just ended, and money's a little tight, so Purigan is going to help you out. They can install both systems with no money down, no payments for 3 months, plus a lifetime service at no charge. Call Purigan right away. 844-80-WATER, 844-80-WATER, or the website, PUR-water.com. That's PuriganWater.com.
Purigan, man, is your best friend to make your water pure again.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Unjunk your sleep during the President's Day sale at Mattress Firm. Shop now and get a king bed for a queen price, plus a free adjustable base with purchase. Don't miss hot buys like beds starting at just $159.99, plus Tempur-Pedic savings.
This is former Notre Dame quarterback Brady Quinn. Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Total Wine and More. Chloe Kim defended her crown in women's half pipe. The Long Beach snowboarder hit her pair of 1080s to capture her second straight Olympic gold medal. LeBron James and the Lakers were stunned by the Blazers, and the NFL is expanding overseas. The league will play 4 regular season games in Germany over the next few years. 2 will be played in Munich and 2 in Frankfurt. I'm Missy Jordan.
Total Wine & More is your big game headquarters for local craft beers, bourbons, cabernets, seltzers, and more. And don't forget Valentine's Day. Total Wine can help you score the perfect bubbly, too. Pickup and delivery available at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Omicron spreads faster than any other COVID-19 variant, so it's important for you to mask up to limit the spread. N95, KN95, and KF94 masks offer the best fit and filtration. Don't have these? Surgical masks or double masking with a surgical and fabric mask can also offer great protection. So there you go. Mask, vax, and get boosted. Learn more at covid19.ca.gov. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. KARS Cars for Kids.
Donate your car today with 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. We're a recognized 501c3 charity organization, so you'll receive a maximum tax deduction. What's more, you'll receive a vacation voucher of 3 days and 2 nights. Also on the web at carsforkids.com.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today. Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
This is hard to admit, but when I was in junior high school, I was bullied so badly, I cried. Hello, I'm John Okoyan, owner of Rooter Hero Plumbing. I was named Oganis after my grandfather, but as a kid, I was teased for having that name, so I changed it to John. John is the English version of Oganis, and it maintains the honor to my grandfather. My family and heritage are important to me, so staying true to myself and Rooter Hero Plumbing are important. Staying true to Rooter Hero Plumbing means being true to you and delivering world-class service. That's why my cell phone number is on the back of every Rooter Hero Plumbing business card. Call us at 866-DRAIN-77 and we'll cable your line for $77. That's 866-DRAIN-77. Thank you.
CL 102-8886.
Well, we've talked about SolarMax technology for years now. What made you decide to go with them?
Well, I did a bunch of research. I figured out that SolarMax technology was the best. I mean, they're local for one thing. They know their stuff. They got great prices. And they are extending this special through February.
That's right. SolarMax brilliantly stocked up on those beautiful Tesla panels, so there is no supply chain wait.
Plus, it's all assembled locally. There's no middleman. And something we just figured out, now's the best time to get solar because you're going to get more electrical production during the spring.
So call SolarMax and get that sleek new Tesla 420-watt panel package, the most powerful solar panels on the market right now for zero down and only $79.96 a month.
Yeah, and a 1.99% APR. Dial pound 250 from your cell phone. Say the keyword SolarMax. That's pound 250 SolarMax. Or go to solarmaxtech.com. Monthly payment available on approved credit. See SLB number 97248.
We are all stewards of the next generation. But in the U.S., there are over 100,000 boys and girls who are victims of human sex trafficking. It's time to stand up and join the fight as a community to stamp out the exploitation and trafficking of our most vulnerable. Join the fight against human trafficking. To learn more, visit usiaht.org. Portions of the following program will be recorded.
You can't do that if you're a public figure.
There's a picture of Garcetti at the game without a mask.
You can't do that because of the perception. Such a hypocrite.
It's a shame that the supply chain has made it harder to get car and feathers.
Bill Handel. Mornings from 6 to 10.
That's true.
On KFI.
AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Jennifer Jones-Lee is on vacation. I'm Chris Little in for her. Some of the stories we're following, actually just one big story, some breaking news right now. People have been ordered to get out of their homes in the Emerald Bay area of Laguna Beach because of a fast-moving brush fire that's moving inland. PCH is closed in the area. Of course, unseasonably warm, dry, windy weather conditions have been a challenge for, Southern California and residents, and of course now for firefighters. Crews are there from the Orange County Fire Authority. They have responded to the fire. Classes have been canceled at El Morro Elementary School. Earlier, we heard that the fire was about 10 acres. It is way beyond 10 acres now. Fire department earlier said it is possible that this will become a 100-acre fire. So far, no buildings have been damaged or destroyed. So we'll keep an eye on that fire in the Emerald Bay area of Laguna Beach for you throughout the morning. The U.S. Labor Department is likely to report later this morning that inflation is lingering at the highest level since 1981. Investopedia editor-in-chief Caleb Silver is with us. What kind of numbers do you expect to see, Caleb?
Well, those numbers actually did cross at 8:30 this morning, so maybe a typo there, but the Consumer Price Index out from the Labor Department showing a 7.5% increase. That's the highest level in 40 years, higher than we thought it was going to be, if you can believe that. And the core inflation, if you take out energy and food prices, which is ridiculous because we spend money on those every day, but core inflation, that's up 6%, again, another 40-year high. So prices are high everywhere we spend money.
Can you explain what the Consumer Price Index is and what it actually influences?
Yeah, that is basically the price difference in everything we spend money on. So from cereal and bakery products to new and used cars to motor oil, home energy oil, basically everywhere we spend money. Food, energy, appliances, hard goods, travel, all of that is baked into the Consumer Price Index, even rent. So it's the measure of how consumers spend money, and it's been rising every month for the past 7 months. We're spending on things we haven't spent on in about a year and a half because the economy's opening up a little bit more. But also there's some supply chain constrictions that are still impacting the economy, and retailers have pricing power, so they're keeping those prices high.
And reports do indicate that the expiration of the stimulus checks and other government aid has not really slowed down America's appetite for shopping. How can that be?
Well, we're going into deeper debt. We just got the report from the New York Fed that household debt in the U.S. topped $1 trillion last year. So the last time it did that, 2007, you remember what happened in 2008, 2009. Now, we're not in that type of a situation where we're over-mortgaged on our homes. It's a different type of an issue where we're spending a lot and taking on a lot of debt to do that, whether that's to buy cars, whether that's to buy homes. The housing market has been absolutely blazing hot for the past year and a half. We're just borrowing more to pay for bigger assets, and that is starting to may have an impact on consumer spending going forward if these prices don't.
Well, now at the same time, there are some figures that might suggest that price increases have begun to slow. Have you seen any of that?
Yeah, we're starting to see that top off. You're starting to see it in the housing market. That's a function of rising mortgage rates. If you hadn't noticed, mortgage rates now for the 30-year around 4%. They were down around 2.5%. Yeah. Now 4%. That's going to cool the housing market. You're also seeing some less of a supply chain issue in some goods being able to get across the country and into U.S. ports. You still have issues with semiconductors, so that's going to affect the auto industry and the electronics industry, but other goods are starting to make their way through, and you're seeing prices come down, whether it's lumber, whether it's steel, whether it's copper. They're receding a little bit, and that's a good sign. But what's going to happen next is the Federal Reserve is going to raise interest rates starting in March, and that's going to cool prices down a heck of a lot. It's already changed the temperature of the stock market.
Well, and that was going to be my next question, so I'll go back to something that I was just thinking about when you were talking about interest rates going up. As interest rates go up, mortgage interest rates go up, and the price of housing is affected maybe by going down, still the price, what you're paying for the house almost remains the same, right?
Absolutely. It's a psychological thing. How much are you willing to borrow and how much are you willing to stomach in terms of borrowing costs? Your mortgage rates go up if it's not fixed, then you're going to pay a higher interest rate every time that changes. But also the other things that we use, that we borrow. So credit cards, they're impacted by federal funds rate. Sometimes auto loan rates are affected by the federal funds rate. So all the big ticket items we've been spending money on, the borrowing costs are going to go up, which means that we should see a cooling down in prices in those assets. Maybe not a decline, but definitely not a continued increase.
Investopedia Editor-in-Chief Caleb Silver is with us. Caleb, as inflation goes up, what would you suggest that the average person do?
Well, if you can lock in rates on anything that might be not be fixed, you should do that now. You should also prepare the things that prices are going to stay high for a little bit, and as interest rates rise, you got to think about the things you're going to borrow money to buy. How important is it to buy that new truck this year? If you're a contractor, if you need it for your work, maybe so. Prices are really high on automobiles right now, and the borrowing costs are going to go up. So think twice about the big ticket purchases, but also think about ways where if you did have higher rates, you still got pretty low rates right now, pretty low interest rates. You might want to refinance things that you haven't done in the past 2 years because rates are only going to rise from here.
Yeah, do you see it getting, some sort of normalcy coming back anytime soon? Or is this the new normal?
It's the new normal because we've never been in a situation like this coming out of the pandemic. Yeah. We haven't had inflation this high since 1982 when E.T. was the #1 movie in the country and Let's Get Physical was the #1 song. So this takes people way back to the 80s.
I remember that.
And we have a stock market that is sort of rocky right now after gain after gain after record highs last year. We're starting to see a little bit of turbulence there. So it's going to be an interesting time for both investors and consumers.
And now I read a recent Gallup poll that said 20% of Americans list economic concerns as their #1 issue, but twice as many people list poor leadership of the government or the coronavirus as their #1 concern. So it looks like Americans aren't too worried about it yet.
Yeah, they're not too worried about it yet. Americans are always generally concerned about their financial futures. You look at plenty of Gallup surveys and others that say some Americans don't feel like they have enough to get through the next 6 months. That's always the case in this country. It's gotten worse through the pandemic, especially for lower-income folks. But yes, they're concerned about leadership, and we're heading into a midterm here over the next 6 months, so you're going to see that rhetoric boil up a lot more.
All right, Caleb, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, there he goes, Investopedia Editor-in-Chief Caleb Silver, talking about what we can expect with the inflation numbers that just came out today. This is KFI and KOST HD2 Los Angeles. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, let's go places. Let's check your drives. It's Jeff Bob.
All right, you bet. Good morning to you. Now, Chris has been trying to warn you about this fire in Laguna Beach. It's quite serious. The Emerald Bay area, Laguna Beach, extremely active fire up in the hills. The wind is blowing towards PCH. It's extremely busy right now. PCH is being used by fire department and people on the move, so try and avoid it if you can. Again, through Laguna Beach, more on that coming up. Now, the Ventura Freeway coming to Studio City, big problem there, eastbound Woodland, has been backed up to the 405 now when used Ventura Boulevard. And through Laverne, West 210 Foothills, still have lanes blocked. Use the Pomona Freeway or Foothills Boulevard. Busy morning. Can't find the sky. Helps get you there faster. I'm Jeff Baugh.
Southern California weather from KFI. Sunny today. Highs in some of the foothills and the IE. Highs around 80 at the beaches, upper 80s for Metro LA and Orange County. Mid-80s to around 90 for the valleys and the Inland Empire. We read local from KFI's 24-hour newsroom. I'm Chris Biddle. This has been your wake-up call. Handle on the news is now.
If you own a business and manage to keep 5 or more people on the payroll during the pandemic, it's a new government program that will pay you tens of thousands of dollars per employee. That's a lot of money, and it isn't a loan. It is a grant. Now, the challenge is getting your hands on this money. It's a complicated federal bureaucracy. InnovationRefunds.com cuts through that red tape and bureaucracy and gets you the money. They are experts in helping businesses like yours get your share of this government money. And they do all the legwork and do not charge a dime until you actually receive the money, and then they share a percentage of the money they get from you. And another program, they got My Business, a 6-figure refund. The average client in this business or this program gets $250,000. Go to innovationrefunds.com, click on the Qualify Me button, answer a few questions. InnovationRefunds.com, InnovationRefunds.com.
Raising home care starts with a great match. ComfortCare can help you find the right fit for a parent or loved one. From companionship to personal care, ComfortCare offers different levels of assistance. Our franchisees thoughtfully match clients and caregivers to the best fit possible. A great match gives families peace of mind, knowing their loved one is getting professional care and a friendly smile. Find your caregiver match at ComfortCare.com. Each office is independently owned and operated.
The kitchen is the centerpiece of your home, and if your cabinets are starting to show their age, do what I did. Trust the experts at Reborn Cabinets. They can provide a beautiful custom solution that perfectly suits your needs and budget. And now's a great time to think new kitchen. Through February 28th, Reborn is offering 50% off installation, 25% off product material, and no payment arrangements until 2023. Call Reborn 888 the number 2 Reborn 888-273-2676. Or go to reborncabinets.com, telephone state license number 443-688.
Keep your home sanitized with Quake services. Save up to 30%. Visit Quake.com. Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Handle on the news. And now, here's Bill Handle.
Morning, everybody. It's John Handle here, February 10th. We've got some breaking news. But first, hello to the crowd. Chris Little in from Jennifer. Morning, Chris. Hey, Bill. And I think Jennifer is coming back on Monday. I spoke to her yesterday. And she is about to come back. Sitting ready to go. She'll tell you all about it. Wayne, good morning. Good morning. Didn't take long for there to be a fire issue. No, we're going to do that in a second. A quick hello to Tyler and then Alex. Now, news that just broke. I'm going to go right to Chris Little for that. Well, it's a wildfire, as you guys just mentioned. It's been being fanned by these gusty Santa Ana winds that have been around for a while. It's burning near homes. It's in Emerald Bay, the Emerald Bay area of Laguna Beach. People have been told to get out of the houses because of this brush fire that's moving pretty quickly. PCH is closed in the area. And as you know, we've got some unseasonably warm, dry, windy weather conditions going on. And of course, that is always a challenge for firefighters. Earlier, this is about maybe 20 minutes ago. We heard it was 10 acres. Of course, it's going to be more than 10 acres. Firefighters have said that this fire in Laguna Beach could reach up to 100 acres. Of course, when they say that, a lot of times it becomes a lot bigger than that. So again, mandatory evacuations in the Emerald Bay and the Irvine Cove area, and all schools in North Laguna are closed. But so far, we don't have any reports of any buildings being damaged.
Although I understand the fire is right on top of homes.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's close to. I mean, it's burning through neighborhoods. Now there are some areas that aren't as populated in that, with windy roads through the area, but it's definitely burning near some homes, and that's why firefighters have told people to evacuate their homes.
Yeah, and it's a pricey area. I mean, for sure.
Oh yeah. But they're on it. We're sending fire authorities out there, and we'll keep you updated. You never know. Yeah.
Also, a quick word on a serious note is, what's the date? February 10th?
Yes.
You wouldn't have dreamed a decade ago that it was still fire season.
No, I wouldn't have dreamed a decade ago that it'd be 80 and 90 degrees in February.
That's not true. We've had temperatures like that.
We have, but I wouldn't have dreamed it or dreamt it.
That's because you don't dream.
Well, that's probably true, Bill, but I don't dream much about February. Ever.
Okay, I don't even know where to go with that.
Well, don't go anywhere, except let me just give you this quick tip. On Super Bowl Sunday, if there's snow in the mountains, that's the place to be because nobody else will be there.
Yeah, or on the road.
Both. Yeah.
There'll be a lot of on the road in the morning and in the afternoon. All right, let's move on to my lead story. Asking the public for help in identifying whoever gunned down a 14-year-old boy in the Florence Firestone neighborhood. Otis Ray John Williams. This was in July of 2020. He's just walking into the store. A car pulls up, and out of the driver's seat, just shots ring out and killing the young 14-year-old. I mean, it's just, we're seeing more and more of that, too. This car, I figure is fairly easy to identify. The 2016 to 2018 Ford Challenger. It's blue, one black stripe on the hood between two air scoops, a black link, front spoiler and gas cap also are black. How could no one know that? Well, the only thing is the license plate. Yeah. But again, it's going to take a step from someone in the neighborhood. There's no way around it.
Violent crimes against kids are on the rise. We've heard this before. And, these are times of opportunity. People are attacking kids who are walking to and from school. And in some cases, near their own home, they're easy targets. We heard the other day of two girls losing their cell phones being attacked by a woman, which turns out to be another child.
And they're usually gang-related. Also, kids were shot. And the good news is George Gascon has decided that being part of a gang, there's no enhancement at all. It's completely nuts. A lot of this is gang initiation. Hey, you kill someone and it's just isn't that bad?
Oh, here we go. An employee of the Upland Unified School District, notice they're not saying teacher, because it might not be a teacher, but an employee who works at Bellevue Elementary School sent a message to parents saying that they, the employees, will participate in celebration because, number one, they do not support the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. Also, I am sorry and disagree. China gave us this COVID and will not wear red, meaning they won't wear red. Parents, you need to wake up. Needless to say, that employee is...
Now, at some point, he went over the line, but I won't wear red because of the Chinese Communist Party. That's legit. That's like a Jehovah's Witness saying, I won't celebrate Halloween. Well, they all have their part. They actually do have parties in doorways throughout the United States. But it's okay to say what that employee did until he started talking about the ethnicity of people as opposed to the political aspect of the Communist Party. He simply went over the line. Or would he have been fired if he had just said, I won't wear red because of the Communist Chinese Party? First of all, they're on leave right now. Haven't been fired yet. Right. Coming. Would there have been any kind of discipline or investigation? Probably not. But here's the thing. Why do you have to send anything to the parents telling them what you think about it? You don't have to. But, in and of it, but I